You are listening to Wicked Psychotherapists, a podcast where two psychotherapists show you that taking care of and learning about mental health doesn't have to be wicked hat.
Everyone, it's Tanya.
Hi, it's Erin, and welcome to Wicked Psychotherapists.
Welcome. We are now, at this point, we are well into 2025 in the future, when this will be released, but right now we are just on the kind of threshold of 24, 25 in our world. So that's why you may still be seeing some Christmassy things.
Well, snow is winter. I mean, this will be released like January 21st, so it'll still be winter season.
Yeah, we'll allow an exception. Yeah, we'll let it in. But that'll start to change after this. I'm gonna change my scenery a little bit. I might actually keep the snow thing, but I'm gonna change the little Christmas trees and decorations and everything. But I don't really know. I guess snow for January. So the only thing I can add, I don't know, like snowflakes.
I don't know.
I don't know. What is January decor?
I don't know. Snow?
Maybe, no, I don't really know. Yeah, snow.
Yeah.
That's all I think of.
Yeah, I can't think of a holiday in January. I mean,
there's Martin
President's
Luther
Day.
King Day, but I mean, I think it's Martin Luther King Day, and then President's Day is in February.
Then,
I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah, then I have no idea.
Yeah.
Just skip it and go straight to February.
Yeah. Start putting up. Well, I am wearing like a kind of pink purple shirt, so maybe I had that in mind. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, just do a lot of hearts. Decorate. Sorry for that tangent. Yeah, we'll just decorate with a lot of hearts. Or you just do like me and just never change your background.
I actually am thinking of starting to get into that because this changing the background is a lot of work. It's kind of for the birds, but it's fun. It's fun sometimes. But so today, after that, but we all, hope that you had a great Christmas. We realize it is now 3 weeks into January, but hopefully that has settled. The new year, 2025, you're not writing 2024 anymore. Like I know I will.
I'm sure I will for the first couple months. Even now, I still put the wrong year sometimes. Sometimes I'll still put like 2023 and it's 2024 still.
Me too. Or 2022 when it's like a 12, or the month is the 12th, I'll put 22
or
as
1990 or something. I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, what am I thinking?
88 prime year.
Yeah.
But so today we are talking about something pretty new. It's not, usually we go kind of far back, but this is a newish movie. It's the second installment of Beetlejuice called Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, the 2024 rendition that has Winona, Jenna Ortega, and Catherine O'Hara, all those good people. Willem Dafoe, he's in it.
Yeah, that was kind of nice seeing him.
Yeah, he's always got those nice little random appearances. I feel like that you're like, I like him. So we are doing 2024 Beetlejuice, which hopefully most of you have been able to watch. If not, there are spoilers in here, but I'm sure you've already heard them anyways, or if you're listening to this, you probably want to hear about it or just our take on it. So we are just going to talk about some things that we liked, maybe some things that we kind of didn't like so much or just kind of felt like it could be a little different. But overall, what was your impression of the movie?
I actually liked it. I just watched it last night for the first time. And honestly, I wasn't sure how it was going to go. If it was just going to be like a recreation of the first one. I was pleasantly surprised that for a couple moments, I actually was like saying, I think I like this better than the first one for some parts. But then, of course, there's some parts I like the first one better. I did like the different layers of the different characters, the new characters that they brought in, of course the old ones that stayed. But I did like it.
Yeah, I did too. I feel like going into it, I was reading a lot of reviews and people were saying, oh, there were, unnecessary characters, they couldn't recapture it. you're never going to recapture an original. That's a
Right.
classic. It's just not going to happen. So all you can do is try to do something maybe that's, putting its own spin on it. And so I wasn't really expecting it to be like, oh my gosh, it's got to just recreate this magic. It was a time, it was a place. It's like, lightning in a bottle. You can't necessarily do that. But I liked it too. I thought it was, if anything, it was just nice to revisit that world because I really loved the original Beetlejuice. And I thought it had some good moments. I loved the recreation of the mother-daughter relationship between Lydia and Astrid that was kind of mimicked from the original Beetlejuice with Delia and Lydia. Getting all those names, I always mix them up. And it was nice to revisit some of the characters like Beetlejuice, Lydia, Delia. We don't see the dad for obvious reasons. And if you don't know about that, maybe Google that if you want, or maybe not. But also the Sandworms, some of the underworld, all those characters, it was nice to see. It was nice to kind of be back in that, and the model of the world of the attic kind of was still there and in pristine condition, which I thought was pretty.
Yeah, well, that
pretty awesome.
Sheet cover protected it from 30 years of dust, I guess.
Yeah. The gauzy sheet that protected it like it was just some, like, I don't know, antique or something. But yeah, so I think an interesting theme is we see Lydia obviously grown up. She's probably in like her 40s
I think
or
she's
something
probably
like that,
50s,
maybe early 50s, something like that. And yeah, because it's like 36 years later, she was like 16, so probably like early 50s. But she is a medium, like a TV medium. So she banked on her and shared with the world her abilities to be able to talk to ghosts. So her whole life was affected by kind of where we saw her in the original Beetlejuice.
Right. It wasn't just it wasn't just the house that made her see the ghost, which it's, she now has this unlocked ability that it seems like she's really honed in and made it her whole career.
Yeah, and she also is at a time when it kind of opens up, she is burned out. She's not really feeling this career anymore because we were talking earlier, Aaron and I, and we were saying, well, she's probably channeling a lot of energy, which is similar to being a therapist. So we can sort of relate to that in a different way. But there's a lot of, I think, she's just taken on too much with all these spirits and talking to them and channeling them. And so she's just really, really worn out. She's kind of looking to take a step back from that. She's also probably had to be on the road a lot and been away from her daughter. And so we see her in kind of a vulnerable, worn down place. There's some mental health issues present, kind of some anxiety, depression. We're not really kind of clear what it is, but that's kind of what it seems like.
She has anxiety and something because they show her taking pills or trying to take pills, and then her boyfriend or stage manager at the time, Rory, is like, oh no, you can't take the pills, and then he ends up enabling her by taking the pills out of the trash, and they both take one. But it looks like it's like something he
takes one for himself.
Because he's so stressed. But it seems like a lot of it is she's probably really anxious.
Yeah, and she just kind of seems like a lot of stuff is kind of unprocessed. There's also the relationship strain with her daughter that's really apparent. There's kind of some tension. There's tension with her daughter Astrid, played by Jenna Ortega, which is amazing to me. I love that because she played Wednesday, and the whole dark hair, pale look is my thing. Okay, like that, we are being represented. So I always felt represented by them as a young pale.
Yeah, I did too, but now I don't embrace my dark hair anymore. I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay. You can always change that if you're ever in the spirit.
I can always change it. Let me go back.
If you wanna, just,
if I feel gothy,
or like you said, it's just inward. If you carry it with you, that's okay. Your inner goth, it's always there. But yeah, so we see the tension in the relationship, and we also see kind of some karma in there, and some the fact that Lydia had a strained relationship, although I could see understandably with Delia. Yeah, Delia's very
very self-absorbed.
But with Astrid, it's her father,
Mhm.
and her father's passing, and Astrid takes it out on her mom.
Mhm.
She's angry, she's upset, she's grieving, so she's taking it out on the person who probably cares the most, and she knows
Yeah.
that, which is her
Well,
mom.
and she also, I think she really wanted her mom to just stop time after her dad died. And like, there's one part that Lydia explains to Astrid of, your dad and I we're having some difficulties when he went on the trip to begin with. So basically trying to explain to her, like, we weren't in the best place when he died, or we weren't as happy as you might have thought we were. And
Yeah.
so I grieved him, but not as Astrid probably wanted her to, or to show it as much.
Yeah, she kind of idealized their relationship and kind of thought like, oh, why couldn't you just make it work? And she's also upset with her, like, why can't you talk to him? Because you can talk to other spirits. And Lydia doesn't say this for, I think, a while, but you learn that because he has not been able to talk to her.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's still in purgatory.
Yeah, he's working. He's like behind the desk, or whatever, like punching people's tickets.
His bureaucratic job before he can pass on or whatever, and that
going to the Soul Train.
The Soul Train. Oh yeah, I forgot about
that. It's so funny.
That was pretty funny.
I was, I know we're jumping ahead, but I was really shocked. Like, how did Delia get the fast pass to the Soul Train? How is she just able to go straight to heaven or wherever?
I wonder if that was kind of a commentary of, like, she can kind of get things done.
Whatever she wants.
She's kind of like, and like a social elite.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I can do this. And she was able to.
Everyone else,
let
me just
system.
Not wait here till number 6 million is called. I'm just going to dance my way over.
Yeah, exactly. With her
headless husband.
With her headless husband. He's like more than headless. He's like his part of his chest.
Yeah, he's like, it's so gross. Yeah, it's like each time he talks, like blood splatters.
So gross. And like we were saying, it's a creative way to not have the actor back there, because the actor got into a little bit of trouble in real life. So I think it's speculated that that's why he was not.
Well, it also shows a little bit, shows Tim Burton's character too, like in a good way.
Yeah, right. Yeah, which, let's talk about the scenery, the setting, because I feel like Tim Burton did not disappoint. He really, there's a lot of CGI stuff, and he could have gone all wacky, but he kept it pretty simplistic in that realm, and kind of paid homage to the decor, and kind of that feel of the original Beetlejuice, which I love.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean,
like that.
And it was nice too, because it did, it's like, as soon you see the covered bridge, the red covered bridge, like where, like the beginning where Astrid is riding the bike away, and it's like, like they kind of zoom in, and it's like, oh, I hope she doesn't fall over and die.
Yeah. like what's gonna happen here? Did they go that morbid? Man,
that was a short movie.
That passed my mind too, because I was like, oh, she's on a bike. Wait, is she, what's going on?
That's the bridge. No.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess they didn't go that direction, which is probably for the best.
But yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting, because it was like, real life stuff, but and then then it's very, like, within a little bit of meeting the boy that she crashes into his fence, it's it does become very, like, CGI, or like very like creative.
Yeah, and there's so we see introduction of new characters. We see this, I think his name is Jeremy. Excuse me, the boy that she meets, and he kind of knows something's up with him. He's a little weird. She gets a crush on him. She meets him under weird circumstances. He ends up being a not so good guy, and
but
spoiler alert,
spoilers,
he is dead. And he did kill his parents, and he's trying to lure Astrid into the underworld to get her soul.
Which is so like, it was so disappointing. I was so upset when I found out, like, I'm like, oh, he's dead. Oh, poor thing. He fell from the tree. And his parents are just, then I was thinking, oh, his parents are probably just really deep in grief. That's why they're just, like, cooking, or that's why they're just watching TV. Maybe the dad's just drunk and the mom is just, doing her own thing. And that's why they're ignoring. At first I thought that before you realize he's dead. Then I was thinking they're just stuck in their own grief. But then we realized that they're murdered.
Yeah. And there's like you can see some of the hatchet or something still in.
Yeah, I don't know what the dad was killed with, but it looked like the mom was killed with a wisp or something like that. Like she had like a.
Right. Yeah, it was in her eye. Ugh. Yeah.
Pretty brutal.
Yeah. And, that really is kind of, I think, an interesting perspective, because Astrid gets lured in under false pretenses just like Lydia did.
Mm-hmm.
Through Beetlejuice, she was like, he can help, even though she was kind of told by the Maitlands in the first Beetlejuice, don't ever say his name, he's not good. She was desperate for help, but in this case I think Astrid was just like, oh, this is a boy I like.
Yeah, he's cute.
This is
I'm gonna help him, not realizing that, oh wait, he just totally tricked me. I don't know this, and I don't know what I'm saying, whatever language it was that she was chanting, and then she's just basically saying I'm agreeing to stay on the other side.
Yeah, which is kind of like how Lydia gets tricked into almost marrying Beetlejuice in the original one. She's like, wait, what? I got to fulfill this deal, and even though you didn't really help the Maitlands.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
There's a lot of parallels.
Yeah, just trying to help each other, help people. So she's trying to help this boy. Obviously, she has a crush on him. And Lydia, going back to the original Beetlejuice, the Maitlands had this parental role to her, because her parents were the parents she lived with were so dysfunctional, but yeah, that is kind of interesting. A lot of similarities.
Yeah, and even though I think Lydia is trying in this, the 2024 Beetlejuice, she's got some mental health stuff going on, and she's kind of burned out, grieving, and I think Astrid is really not sure who to reach out to for help. Instead, she's just kind of getting angry, and so she's like, oh, well, this could be something good, right? And so she kind of in a way is experiencing her own dysfunction too. And yeah, I really liked the returning through the door, even though it was like, oh, this is not good. You could sense that it was not a good move towards that. Yeah, I think, and then you start to see all the cast of characters, some new ones in the underworld, or the netherworld, whatever they call it, world of the dead. I don't know, purgatory. Whatever. I don't know. You know what we're saying?
Yeah, with the DMV for the dead.
The DMV for the dead. I like that. There you go. DMV for the dead. Yeah. Yeah, it's so bureaucratic, and you still see, it's still operating on that. There's, Bob, who we saw the shrunken head in the original Beetlejuice. There's a whole host of shrunken heads, but Bob is Beetlejuice's, friend and kind of, confidant, and he works for him in the customer call
I was thinking
center.
Because at the end of the first Beetlejuice, didn't Beetlejuice get shrunken like that?
Yes. Yeah, because he stole the ticket in line, and then the other guy had, I don't know. And so I don't know if that's the same one, or maybe because there's a bunch of them. I don't know if it's the same.
Yeah, so that's why I was wondering if that somehow Beetlejuice was able to escape that body. And then I don't know. I'm just overthinking Bob.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Because Bob was really loyal to him and was really friendly. And so I don't know, either they repaired that trust and maybe he unshrunk his head, or maybe it's a different one. Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, I was kind of wondering that too. It's kind of like, oh, they're friendly in this one. Okay. And then there was a bunch of other ones too. So, but yeah, we also meet some other characters that, I don't know. How did you feel about Beetlejuice's, I don't know if it's currently still his wife or his ex-wife.
Oh, well, I don't know. I kind of, Dolores, I think, I was a little confused at first, because we're first introduced to her when she gets the Danny DeVito janitor guy. Oh, yeah. I'm like, is that Danny DeVito?
That was a nice little surprise.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. But then when we had the backstory, it's, Dolores had basically done what Beetlejuice has done to everybody. She was tricking Beetlejuice into marriage so that she could have something for herself, and she was trying to have immortality. And I think when he realized, like, oh, wait, I'm going to get killed, she's poisoning me, which I think he probably died right after because she poisoned him. But he was able to kill her ahead. And I guess, like, did he chop her up? I don't know. That's
Yeah. I think he chopped her into pieces so she couldn't come back and get him.
wow.
And like put her in separate boxes or something. Or yeah, it was a little unclear. But it was.
I felt
somehow she gets pieced back
yeah,
together.
which I feel like that
comes
could
after
have
him.
been explained a little bit better. Like, how did she show up then? Why did she show up then? But you're just seeing when her boxes all of a sudden just appear, she has a staple gun, and then she gets it, Danny DeVito, while he's listening to Jimmy Buffett. He's just chilling. Yeah, so then it's just kind of, it is kind of confusing, because then you think, like, does she really love him? Because then she keeps talking about her true love. So it's very confusing.
Yeah. And maybe it's just like a peep into like, oh, this is Beetlejuice's crazy world. This is why maybe he kind of is tricky, and this is where he kind of learned the ropes, maybe something like
let's
that.
have some compassion and emotion towards him, because you do start to feel for a second. You're like, oh, wait, no, he was robbing graves, robbing stuff of dead people before she found him.
Yeah. And yeah, so he probably was never that great of a character, but I think that whole incident just set a different life path for him into tricking people and feeling like maybe that's like his only option. I don't know. I think we're probably just looking way too deep into it when it was just supposed to be like, oh, here's a little backstory, because you never really got to know Beetlejuice and like kind of just piece it together sort of thing.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
Yeah, we've never really talked about if he was a real human ever. Because that's all it too. Like, you sometimes think, like, was he ever alive, or was he always just a demon? But
I think he was alive during the Black Plague. That's when he.
Yeah, and I think that's what they allude to, like with Dolores, that he was a real human.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I watched this a couple months ago. Aaron just watched it for the first time
yesterday.
Recently yesterday. And so we're not super, like, we're a little kind of hazy on some of this stuff, so please correct us. We're just kind of giving our initial impressions.
We're not
but definitely not. Yeah, it's not like the first one
that was on point. So re-listen to that one if you want to know everything.
Exactly. I was gonna say, go back and listen. We recorded that or released it in like October, I think.
Yeah.
So a couple months ago. If you want to. Yeah. But overall, I mean, I think this was really interesting to see the mother-daughter relationship between Astrid and Lydia, and also Lydia and Delia, and kind of how they found their own rhythm, even though there's still dysfunction.
Yeah, and it seemed like Lydia and Delia have probably gotten a relationship, because Delia has a relationship with Astrid. It seems like, like she is the grandmother. It's not just like, oh, this is my stepmom. This is the woman my dad married. It's like, no, this is your it's very, she donated to the sporting school where Astrid goes. I mean, like, she's invested in it.
Yeah, she kind of, she really got into it instead of just being, looking out for her art and being the self-absorbed kind of wife of Charles or whatever. And yeah, she definitely dove into that role and kind of took it on, which is nice to see. And also Catherine O'Hara, I mean, she's wonderful.
Yeah, she's great.
Can't go wrong with her. And she had some, I don't know, she just kind of makes me laugh sometimes just by being her. And I just like her. I've always liked her since Home Alone.
Yeah,
there's just something about her.
Yeah, and she's one of those people too that Tim Burton loves. Like, she was in Nightmare Before Christmas. She was in the Beetlejuice. Like, she's well loved by him.
Yeah. She was in Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
Which I have not. I tried to watch it, but I've not really gotten into it. But I'm sure it's great. I just, I didn't know how to say that without. But yeah, so I mean, I think that the way Astrid is saved by Lydia and her dad.
Yeah.
It just shows the love and the care in
Yeah.
the relationship, and it kind of restores them.
I think too. I think that was probably a pivotal point too, with Lydia getting her off of that train and rescuing her. I think that's when they were like, like I think Astrid was like, oh my gosh, my mom came here to get me. And then of course, like the dad pulls them up and, they have this like, little moment of hugging. And I think that Astrid realizes like, I'm grieving my dad. I felt like I needed my dad. He gets her Halloween costume. They laugh about it. But then she's like, but my mom's here. And this is who I'm going to have my relationship with. I'm only, she's only 16 and she needs to, she's still trying to figure out who she is. And it's just, it probably was as scary and as probably you don't want to go there. It probably was a needed trip for both of them to go into the underworld and to experience all of this.
It's kind of therapeutic in a way. It gave them a little bit of, maybe not like closure, but a little bit of something to kind of give them the answers and the I don't know, the emotions maybe that needed to be processed.
Yeah. Well, they both were probably stuck too in their grief for different ways, for different parts of it. And I think Astrid had a lot of anger towards Lydia too. Like, not only did I lose my dad and you're here, but you supposedly can talk to the dead because Astrid didn't believe in ghosts. And that if you can, why can't you talk to dad? Why aren't you talking to dad? So there's a lot of anger, which it seemed like very exaggerated exasperated because of, like her mom is a medium. So her, like it seemed like her mom just being selfish. Do you not want me to talk to dad? Is it, so I'm sure there's a lot of other things going on with that.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of complicated family dynamics, which is kind of that mental health spin that we're into, and that we probably paid way too much attention to watching the movie. That people were probably just it was an enjoyable, it was a good movie. I liked it. I liked that they made it. I don't care that it doesn't feel the same as the first one. It just won't.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was good too. And I liked at the end, like at the wedding, because it was like, oh my gosh, I still have to get married. But like after they have this big ordeal in the underworld, it's like, oh wait, let me go run to this church and get married. They're like, why are you doing this? Like, well, he wanted to. He seems nice enough. She doesn't realize that Rory's a big jerk. So then all of that comes.
User.
Yeah, he's a big user. And so it's interesting too that Astrid helps save Lydia, because Lydia just saved Astrid.
Yeah, she kind of, gets the truth serum. He admits Rory's only with her for like the money, and then thankfully he gets taken away by a sandworm, along with Dolores. Beetlejuice kind of just solves that issue.
Yeah, and then Beetlejuice dies. He gets blown up. But I was sad not sad, but I was like, oh, when Delia had to go back, because she's like, like when the William Dafoe character is leaving, and they're like, what? Why are you going? And she's like, oh, and then Astrid knew right away. She's like, they weren't defanged, were they? Like,
yeah. And it's like another loss, like they just kind of keep losing people to the netherworld, underworld, whatever it is.
But then it's like
the DMV.
But then I think Astrid is the one who says, like, who gets Delia's ego, or knows like how this will help her. She's like, well, don't worry, your stuff is going to be worth so much more money now.
Yeah, she knows that that's the important thing for her. That's pretty funny. Yeah. There's some good moments of humor I found really, really funny. I like the dry wit. Astrid had some good lines. So did Delia, of course, and Beetlejuice wasn't as much of a perv in this one.
Yeah, he wasn't. He was just kind of gross. I mean, like the little baby Beetlejuice was pretty disturbing. But
that gave me a little bit of a nightmare.
Especially when Lydia was having the nightmare, like when she was having like a dream sequence where she dreamt that Astrid got married and had a baby, and then the baby was Baby Beetlejuice. I was like, oh,
Yes.
so gross.
Oh
And
gosh.
so,
Then it starts crawling up and down and like being just creepy.
yeah.
Yuck. Yeah.
It's like you're glad to
I
wake
did
up from
not
that
like
nightmare. Yeah, but he wasn't gross.
Yeah.
I mean, he was disgusting, but he wasn't. No, but I thought it was interesting too, like with the boy. What was his name? Jeremy.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he stamped the thing, they're like, no, don't stamp the passwords. Then they realized it was Beetlejuice, and it's like, yeah, like basically like, oh, you're out of luck, kid. And then he just opens a thing, and then he goes straight to hell.
Yeah.
So of course Beetlejuice was
that
helping
funny.
because he thought he was going to get something in return. But it was nice to see that he was like not quite a hero move, but it was kind of a cool thing that Beetlejuice was able to send the bad guy down.
Yeah. He's still very transactional, but there's a little bit of something there. A little bit of helping out, yeah. But I do wonder if that dream about the baby Beetlejuice, is that like a sequel, maybe? Is that something they left open?
I don't know.
Like, I don't know. Or is that just totally
I think that was a
just,
total
I don't
dream
know.
sequence. It had to have been. Because I don't think, because Astrid still looked 16 and they didn't, I mean, but maybe she did get married to that guy and maybe they did move to that area. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. Or maybe she's going to raise
In Tim Burton's universe, you never know.
She could be married. She could be having a little baby Beetlejuice. So gross.
So, anything else before I get to the
Question?
The question.
I don't know. I mean, I think I really did appreciate the, I don't know. I like the little things, like even like when they're mourning, the house was mourning, like how ridiculous
Yeah.
Delia is. She's just like, has the house in the black scarf, like just
so
has
extra.
people wear she's so extra. And it's just the little things that you notice that, Tim Burton really put that extra thought into.
Yeah. I love seeing his world. I love seeing how it's a continuation of it and how it's kind of changing. And I really...
Yeah, and the music...
I love that just for that pure fact.
And the music in the background, everything was really, really good.
Yeah, I really love the callback to some things and then also just some new stuff.
Yeah.
That was pretty
Yeah,
creative.
the funeral. That's what it was, like the funeral.
Yeah, when it was like kind of echoing in the back. I love that.
They had the people singing it for Charles's funeral, which I thought was kind of...
Right, that's right. Okay, yeah.
Daylight
that was really nice.
Yeah. So that was kind of
I love that.
Definitely bringing you to the original.
Yeah, I like that. It's a little nostalgic, but still weird, but new and innovative and visionary all in one, wrapped up. That's Tim Burton. He's great. So, my question to you would be, if you were able to be given the power of being able to be a medium, to speak to ghosts, would you take it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. No? Without a question. I would. Well, if I could shut it off, because you always hear like the Long Island medium and stuff like that. It sounds like, but I think maybe if
it sounds exhausting.
Yeah, it sounds exhausting.
Just like Lydia.
Like, could I just do it for like a day and just talk to a couple people and then turn it off and never have it again? Or
see, I think that's maybe the question. That's the caveat, is that you either have it or you don't.
Yeah. So,
and maybe you can learn to turn off. I don't know.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess I would have to say no then, because I wouldn't want to talk to everybody. That'd be really annoying. Because I don't even want to talk to.
Might be scary.
I don't want to talk to everybody now. I'm just like maybe say hi to my mom, my sister, stuff like But I don't want to. Yeah, I guess no. I don't know. I'm so torn, Tanya. I guess no. After I'm thinking like I can't turn it off.
I think my immediate answer is no, because it feels exhausting. Like I could totally relate to what Lydia was saying. Even as a therapist, that's enough. Never mind like things that you can't necessarily control being around you.
Yeah, these people don't even have appointments.
Yeah, they just show up at 2 a.m. You'll be dead asleep, and they're like, "Hey, I gotta tell you something."
Like that show Ghost. Do you ever watch that? That's so funny. It's my favorite. Like
Ghost.
You should watch it. It's like she's lives in a haunted house, and she's just all night they're waking her up to talk to her. It's just really funny. It's funny.
Is that's not Ghost Whisperer?
No, it's just Ghost. No, Ghost. No. Oh my gosh, that was so annoying.
That one.
It was good. I used to watch that too, but no, this is different.
Yeah, I think it's something that it could be, really, really, like at first people might be like, oh yeah, I want that, but you don't realize you can also get some maybe not so friendly spirits.
unsavory.
You could get people that won't turn off.
Yeah, that would be kind of enough.
I think just like, we create boundaries and we learn to turn it off, maybe it's a similar process. I have no idea.
Yeah.
So maybe that might be worth it, but it just sounds like a lot of work to that I don't think I have the energy
No, that's
to learn.
true.
So
Yeah, because
no.
just the no boundaries. That makes me make it a big no after talking.
Yeah.
After thinking about it for these few seconds, I'm changing mine to a no.
Yeah, I think I'm a no too. Even though it would be interesting, I think it would only be interesting for a little bit.
Yeah,
and then
like
the
if I
rest
could
would
see
be
people that have died that I want to see for like a little bit, have a conversation, and then they're gone again, that would be fine. But
yeah,
just like that 5-minute conversation or something.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I mean, but I just don't think I would want that. Which is like you said, if it were maybe just for a day or two, but maybe you wouldn't even necessarily get to talk to the people that you want to.
Yeah, and how do you know it's really them?
Yeah, it's tough, but I don't think I'd want to mess with that. I think we have too much stuff thrown at us already.
It's true. I have trouble managing my own mind.
Me too. I hear ya. Yes, myself is its own journey.
Yeah.
Hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Too much.
Yeah.
Too much to kind of rein in.
Yeah.
But yeah, so all right. Well, let us know what you would say, and how you would feel about if you would like to be a medium to speak to ghosts, spirits, energy, whatever you term it as.
Or if you are a medium, and how do you feel about it?
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool. We'd like to hear your experience. Yeah. But we hope you enjoyed this discussion of Beetlejuice, the 2024 version, and we hope you get to see it if you haven't already. It was really great. If you are into the original movie, I think you'll definitely find some things you like in this movie.
Yeah,
at least it was a good ride.
And if you haven't listened, to our other episode, listen to that after this.
It's in October. I think it was released in October of 24, a couple months ago. But yeah, don't forget to follow us on socials. We're on Instagram and Facebook. Subscribe. Write us a review. 5 stars always helps us out. That's great. And let us know if you have any ideas for future shows or anything that you want to hear, any questions, anything like that. We might be doing another live at some point.
Yeah.
So shoot those over. Send us a message. And and don't forget, stay wicked.
And keep your mind well. And have a great week. Okay, bye-bye.